Here we are. It's recording. This is the real thing. Let's go. B minor. I got the X Factor.
X Factor in the building. What's going on, everybody? Episode 14. We are in the house, and it's time. Let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Let's go. And we got Collin Henderson from Washington State. My man, a Coug, two-sport athlete, captain of his team, 5 books that he's published. And I don't want to toot his horn too much, but the guy is a living legend on the Palouse. I'm tossing the Palouse there at the end. If you don't know, that's the Washington State's territory. But Collin, what's going on, man? I appreciate you joining us tonight.
Oh, it's such an honor. B minor in the house, X Factor. We're just bringing it tonight. Super blessed, super excited.
Love it, man. So I mentioned a little bit about Washington State. I think that's a good place to start for everybody, is kind of just tell us a little about your upbringing. I've got to know you as one of the best motivational mental coaches. So there's mental coaches and there's motivators. And Collin, I've found you to be one of the best, if not the best, motivating mental coach that I know. So, because you got so many one-liners. If you guys are watching this, make sure you have your pen and paper. Make sure you're ready to take notes, because this guy brings it. Whoa, shift the screens there. New person jumped in. So I appreciate you joining us. Let's get this party started. Tell us a little about your upbringing. How'd you pick Washington State, or walk us through how you got to where you're at kind of now, or at least through college?
Yes, Coach Miner. Well, again, honored to be here. What's up, fam? Thank you for showing up. Listeners are going to get the replay. But, I grew up in a town called Puyallup, Washington, about 45 minutes south of Seattle. Longest city that starts and ends with a P, home of the Puyallup Fair, 5th largest fair in the country. Let's go. Anyway, so grew up in Puyallup, Washington. Just love sports. My dad, Jerry Henderson, played quarterback at Washington State. He was a professional racquetball player. He played in the CFL. So I just grew up playing sports. I just loved it. I have a brother older than me. Like, that's just what we did. And I was fortunate enough to get some offers across the country. I played 3 sports in high school. I would say that basketball is probably my favorite sport right now. I know you guys are hoopers, but I did football, I did basketball, I did baseball. So I got a great gift to play 2 sports at Washington State. And, what I hid for most of my life as a college athlete, as a high school athlete, was I would put on this front like I had everything figured out. Like, I was Mr. Confident, I was homecoming king, I was captain of the team, but under the surface, I hid anxiety. I'm a recovering perfectionist. If I wasn't first, I was last. And I got my whole self-worth attached to this outcome, this performance, where all my validation came, like, I have to perform to be loved, to be worthy, to be liked. And that was just so exhausting. And it wasn't the fact that I didn't work hard. I did. So when I coach athletes and business people, I say there are 3 things you can train. You can train your body, you can train your craft, you can train your mind. And I would attack the weight room. I would attack my craft, hitting in the batting cages, catching 100 balls a day. But I remember playing my junior season, going into our first game of the year. It was on national television. That off season, I was a straight savage, X Factor. Your boy was crushing the weight room, getting the routes in. This is football now. And I had a good spring and a good fall camp, but like an hour or 2 hours before like the kickoff, I had a panic attack, like a full-on chest tightness, couldn't really move, like a full-on panic attack. And it's because I train only 2 of the 3 things we can train as performers. And I didn't have a great year that year. I was set up to be like, I was starting, I was supposed to catch all these footballs, but I just could not put together. So I had a lot of failures in college. I still started, in 2 sports, but I look back like I was such a hot mess. Look up hot mess in the dictionary. Your boy's face is right there. I acted like I had it figured out, but I didn't. So as I've gotten older, I look back in my training. I was like, there was such a gap in my training. So it's my mission right now to do 2 things. Number 1, to transform lives. Number 2, to normalize mental skills training. I'm like a strength coach, but for your brain. So just like you would train a skill set, you can train your mindset. I'm going to teach you skills and drills that we're going to rep over and over again. So that's what my passion is now. I've written books. I like to say, hide your wife, hide your kids. I'm coming for everyone, businesses, schools, athletes, stay-home moms. I don't care who you are. Everyone needs this stuff. Prehab, not rehab. So that's where I'm at.
That's incredible, man, because I feel like something that a lot of people struggle with, and by a lot of people, I mean almost everybody, if not literally everybody throughout their lives, you struggle with finding that correct mentality just to have throughout your life, to have throughout different circumstances. Like you said, you're, training for football, trying to be a beast, and then, kind of got overwhelmed, have a panic attack, like you said, like just going into things with that right mentality, and to have somebody like you who can lead people in that right direction and coach mentality, that's unique, and that's extremely necessary, because I think in a lot of situations, mentality is everything. Like if you're trying to, me and B Minor equate this a lot. If you're trying to go up, talk to a girl, you don't have the right mentality, you're going to go up there and say what? You're going to fumble your words. You're going to not have yourself collected. You're going to fumble the bag, for lack of better terms. You're going to fumble the football. You're going to fumble the girl. You got to have that cool, calm, collected, really put everything together, have that right mentality in everything you do. So I really, really, really admire that.
Yeah. And I'll say this, confidence can be trained. Resilience can be trained. Mindfulness, being in the present moment, can be trained. Courage is a muscle that we can train. So I teach there are 4 levels of being confident. If you're talking to a girl, talking to a guy, have a test, playing a sport, there are 4 levels of confidence. The first is no confidence. You've already lost before that rep even started. Level 2 is what we call shaky confidence, as in you need to see an outcome first to believe in yourself. Like I'm thinking, let's use basketball as an example. You need to see the ball go in to feel confident to keep shooting, right? Level 3 is what we get to what I like to call stable confidence, where you don't need an outcome, but you need validation from other people to say, yes, I am worthy of this. I am a good performer. We want to train level 4, which is what I like to call unshakable confidence. I don't need an outcome, and I don't need someone to tell me I'm awesome to believe in myself. And when you look at professionals, and I'm giving this insight. I learned this from my boy Graham Betchart. He's the mindset coach for a lot of players in the league in basketball. And he says, if you look at Steph Curry, if you look at my dude Klay Thompson from Washington State, the reason why they're pros is because they can go 0 for 14 and they're still going to shoot. Now that's professional. That's next level unshakable confidence, is that I'm going to keep shooting. Where like amateurs, I go 0 for 3, I'm going to stop shooting. But it's this, hey, look good, felt good, next one will be good. Having optimism, believe in yourself. I'm going to compete. I'm going to be myself. I'm not defined by this. I'm going to be here in the present moment. So I love to teach performers how to develop this unshakable confidence.
Love that term, unshakable confidence.
Yeah.
Talk just briefly, how would you encourage or teach that in a player?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a few diagrams mentally. Okay, I could get on this whiteboard if you want me. That's why.
I love that you have a whiteboard there, Collin. I knew you're the whiteboard type guy.
Yeah,
Collin came prepared.
Whiteboard this, but since the podcast, I'll just teach this. Okay, so to be competent in anything in our life, there are 4 steps. Step 1 is called unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. Level 2 is called conscious incompetence. Now I'm aware of a blind spot. I'm aware of I'm not good in this area of my life. Level 3 is a state that's called conscious competence. Now through coaching, through podcasts, through watching the best, success leaves clues. Who has what I want? I'm going to study these guys. I'm going to develop a plan to rep these behaviors over and over again. We get to level 4, which is unconscious competence. I do without thinking. It becomes muscle memory. So some people skip level 3, which is conscious competence, and they go to level 4, which is unconscious competence. They have success, but they don't know why. So we need to have systems, process. This is why I trust the process. The journey is the reward, not the outcome. Just be obsessed with how I train, how I prepare. And then come game time, I treat it the same. The most important moment is right now. The goal is to be where your feet are, to be present. So we rep these over and over again. We have the same routines. So we're in the moment, we just trust. So X Factor, I'm going to put you on the spot. Pop quiz. What's the definition of clutch?
Definition of clutch is being able to perform at a high level in high pressure situations.
I'm going to simplify this. If you guys taking notes at home, write this down. Clutch, doing what you normally can do when it matters most. So you just be yourself. The moment's not too big. How I practice is how I play in preseason, regular season, postseason, clutch time. I treat it the same. The most important moment is right now. Okay, so now, Coach Collin, awesome. You gave me 4 levels of confidence. You gave me 4 ways to develop just this unshakable confidence, this unconscious confidence. Now, how do I do that? Now I'm going to give you another model. So, Coach Miner, what's the number one source of confidence? What's the
Preparation?
That's what most people say. That's part of the equation. The number one source of confidence, backed by science from the BBC lab in the UK, Dr. Andrew Lane, 44,000 people looking at what creates confidence. They found the number one source of confidence is self-talk. Because the example of me against my junior, I prepared physically. I wasn't prepared mentally. My self-talk was, I'm not worthy of this. Don't drop the pass. This is on national television. Everyone's watching. So my internal world was not hardwired. So step 1 to develop unshakable confidence is to elevate your self-talk. How do you speak to yourself? I want you to think about, who is your best friend? Would you still be best friends with them if they spoke to you the same way that you speak to yourself? Probably not. Thoughts become things. This is what I call the thought cascade. Your thoughts influence your feelings, your emotions, your biochemistry, and the actions that you take. Talking like, hey, I'm prepared. I put in the work. Why not me? Trust the process. Hand on the ball. Finish. Hand in the freaking cookie jar. Let's go. Use my legs. Just have some self-talk to just quiet the noise. And what this happens is we can only focus on one thought at a time. This is called thought replacement. So I have this 12 ounces X factor. I got 12 ounces in this cup. If I dump a gallon of water in this cup, how much water is left? How much water is in here?
12 ounces.
There you go. So just by having these a self-talk, I call this your advertising campaign, that you speak to yourself when you're on the court, or you're talking to a girl, taking a test, whatever it is, have this ad campaign. You're blocking out negativity. It can't come in because you're already focused on what you want to accomplish. And so my question is, when you're about to perform, do you focus on not failing, or you focus on making something positive happen? Thoughts become things. Hey, kids, write this down. Thoughts become things. Everything happens twice in our life. First in our mind, then in real life. So if you're thinking, don't miss the shot, don't turn over, don't get dunked on, you're creating a neural pathway and a mental groove for your subconscious, which is your body, to act out. 95% of our actions are controlled by our subconscious mind. So why would you let negativity get in your mind? Why would you allow thinking of screwing up to even get into your mind? So here's a few things you can do to elevate your self-talk plan. I'm going to give you 3 things. Let's go. Taking notes. Hey, go to the mind gym. Don't just go to the gym. Got to go to that mind gym. Don't just exercise X Factor. You got to exercise. Let's go. So 3 things to develop elite self-talk. Number 1 is make a list of examples of when you've had success before. When you've overcame something hard. When you've overcame adversity. When you were able to deliver when it mattered most. This is what former Navy SEAL David Goggins, who used to have the pull-up record for most pull-ups in a day, he calls your cookie jar. I go to my cookie jar when I'm not feeling confident, when I'm feeling like this is tough. I go back, hey, when have I overcame stuff? When have I finished when it was hard? Hey, let's go. That's more real than expecting bad things to happen. That hasn't even happened yet. Now, to anchor these past experiences of success, to anchor it to be credible with your self-talk is, what type of work have you put in? How have you earned the right? So then, hey, I've been putting up 500 shots a day. I've been getting 9 hours of sleep. I've been hydrating. Like, I've earned the right to be confident in this moment. And I can back it up with this. Boom, 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 boom. You have this mental, these thoughts like written out and you can see them. Now, the third one, which is I like to call anchor statements. Think of an anchor on a ship. When there's turbulence, when there's waves, when there's wind, it keeps that boat anchored in the present moment in that spot. I want you to memorize 3 to 4 what I call I am statements, anchor statements. Like, I am here, I'm built for this, why not me? So I kind of did this exercise. It's like, if I was playing this fall, what would I say to myself? I'd probably say, compete, have fun, OFG. Compete, have fun, OFG. OFG is an acronym I call 0 F's given. Let's go. So have a predetermined script. I've had success before. I put in the work. I'm going to give my anchor statements to just what I call feed the good wolf. We have two wolves in our mind fighting every single day. X factor. You have this negative wolf that says things like, you're not good enough. You're just a walk-on. You're not tall. You're not fast. You're not good enough. Why are you here? Then you have this positive wolf, this wolf that says, hey, why not you? Different is cool. Let's compete. I'm a vitamin. I'm not a virus. I'm a fountain, not a drain. I elevate this team with just my energy. Let's compete. I'm not defined by this. So then the question is which wolf wins? The one that you feed. So this is just having a mental game plan up for self-talk. So that's step one. I'll just pause if you want to just.
Value, so much value. Holy cow, man. My hand, I'm trying to write. I'm going to go back and have to watch this like 3 times and review this, man. And that's what gets me fired up is I love feed the wolf. Which wolf are you going to feed? Which person how do you want to react? How do you talk to yourself? And it seems pretty simple, right? It's something that people would think, well, why would I hang around somebody, or why would I have a best friend if he talked to me the way I talk to myself? That's something to think about, right? Talk about it, X.
One thing that I loved, and the number one thing that I just took from all the great things that you said, is that you said something that I do all the time. Think about instances of why you deserve to be here. So like, I'll be in situations like just me playing in the Big East right now. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I'm seeing NBA talent all the time. But I think all the time, like, why do I deserve to be here? Because I did this, because I did this, because I did this. Why do I deserve to be, period, where I am right? Why do I deserve to get the internship that I have right now? Why do I deserve to do this, do that? Shit, because I worked my ass off. You know what I mean? For lack of better term, I worked my ass off, and then that's why I'm here. So I deserve to be here. So now that I'm here, I can't, I shouldn't be anything less than confident. And I try to work on my confidence every single day. I'm a pretty confident guy. I don't know if you can tell, but, I'm very much, confident in myself, not egotistical, but confident in my abilities and confident in what I've accomplished, and what I set forth to accomplish as well. And but there's definitely so much that you can work on. And my question for you, because I struggle with this for sure sometimes, is do you still feel every once in a while, what do you do if you follow those guidelines that you gave and you still are struggling with confidence? Do you ever still struggle with confidence, or is that completely mitigated for you?
Here's the reality. If you look at brain science tells us that 80% of human thoughts are negative. So if your mind is untrained, 4 out of 5 thoughts are negative, and 95% of thoughts are reoccurring or on a loop. So here's just a fact. We have an ancient brain in modern times. Your brain is designed to survive, not thrive. It's designed to survey the environment, look for threats and challenges and dangers and what's, but we're not being chased anymore by lions and tigers. So now it's converted to, how do I look? What do people think about me? This is what Dr. Michael Gervais calls FOPO, fear of other people's opinions.
Write that down. Michael Gervais.
Dr. Michael Gervais, great podcast called
Finding Mastery.
Yeah. So
write it down.
We've now gotten into this fight, flight, freeze, hide. Our safety is not in play. It's like our ego and our pride is at stake. So just know that your first thought will probably be negative, but your second, third, or fourth thought doesn't have to be. So that's why having a self-talk plan in place, and I think one of the most powerful mental skills to elevate confidence is just recognize when that critic is popping up. When your internal judge, I call ants, automatic negative thoughts, they're going to come. But that's why mental training is like going to the gym. We got to do it daily. Just recognizing these things. That's why I love to teach journaling. I love to teach mindfulness, because we have to get these reps in. So what I would say to you, X Factor, and I teach everyone I work with, is have a reset word or reset phrase. When you recognize that negative thought, have a go-to reset. I give out bracelets that says reset, refocus, rise. Have a word that you're going to say. Have a 5-second physical routine you do to get your body to change your state. And then I believe this, a fact, adversity is an invitation to rise. Challenge is an invitation to greatness. So if you're not feeling some doubt, some worry, some pressure, it means you're still on level 1. You're not challenging yourself. Nerves are good. Pressure is a privilege. Someone's like, man, I'm feeling pressure. I'm like, amazing. That means something awesome's about to happen. That's fantastic. God put the best things in life on the other side of fear. But anxiety is nerves without the breath. So take a slow, deep breath. Slow down your breathing. Find your breath. Your breath's always centered. That slow exhale tells your subconscious you're not in danger. Change how you speak to yourself. And I like to teach people have big body language. So if you're listening to the podcast right now, watching live, I want you to have a straight spine. Feel like there's a magnet to your head, pulling it straight up. Get X factor. I can see your posture. There you go. That's better. Take a slow, deep breath. Now say, I got this. I'm built for this. Why not me? I'm about to compete. Bring it. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm about to compete, and I know I'm competing because my screen's lit up, which means I was louder than you, X.
Yeah, hey, you got me beat. I was speaking it to myself.
Yeah, so I like to say, man, bat big, breathe big, act big, think big. Let's go. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Change your body, your physiology. Get in a big straight, because what happened is Harvard did some research. Dr. Amy Cuddy, she's not related to Kid Cudi, if you're wondering. But
first question I had in mind.
Yeah,
so, not related.
So, she did research that people that changed their posture for like 2 minutes, it lowered cortisol by like 25%, which causes stress. It increased testosterone, which is the confidence hormone, by %. That's a 45% swing. So I'm not saying fake it till you make it. I'm saying just act your way into the feeling. Just get big body language. Hey, this is my court. This is my pain. This is my back court. I own this place. I put in the work. I'm built for this. And get that big body language. Act your way into the feeling. Nerves are normal, but act your way into the feeling.
Body language screams. Talk a little bit about that. That's something for me as a coach. Yeah. I know in adverse situations or when times are tough, I check a kid's body language, because if they're in a defeated position, then I know what's going through their head. And what you just said, what's going through your head is what's going to happen. It's
true. So no one can read your mind, but they can read your body language. And how we share information as human beings, only 7% is the words that we say, 38% is voice and tone, but 55% of communication is body language. So you can influence yourself and those around you. Like I said, attitudes are contagious. Are you a vitamin or virus? Are you a fountain or a drain? You can suck your energy and your confidence just by, like, when we say like palms up. Hey, let's be palms down. I got this. Yo, we good. I'm here. Not palms up, like that's just surrender. You lost. Palms down is I'm in control. I got this.
Unless you're Jordan and you're so hot and you don't know what's going on.
But you can do this if you hit 6 threes against Portland in the finals in game 1. You can't do that unless you've hit 6 threes in the first half.
Hands down. That was a discussion X Factor and I had the other day, was where does that phrase come from? Like, hands down, the best dual sport athlete on the Palouse where did that hands down phrase come from?
So palms down, again, I'm stealing a few things. I have a lot of mentors. So I have my own podcast. So I interview people all over the country that master the mental game. And palms down came from Graham Betchart. Guys, look him up. Look up. He was the mental skills coach for the Jazz for like 2 or 3 years. He's trained the number 1 picks like 3 or 4 out of the last like 5 years. So another phrase that we like to use is just getting to that next play fast. Next play speed, or pressing the reset button. Can you reset fast? So we can't guarantee the outcome. We cannot control the outcome. What we can control is how we respond to that next play. Get to that next play fast with body language, with energy. So I think that's something we can practice right now when you're by yourself. You're getting your shots up, your ball handling. If it doesn't work out, just press the reset button. Get to that next rep super fast.
Brilliant. Write that down. Next play speed. How quickly can you get to the next play?
Yeah, because you can watch the playoffs on ESPN right now, and you can visually see who has elite next play speed. by if they turn it over, they get shook on a crossover, they get beat, or they miss a shot, or they miss an easy shot, or they get fouled and the ref doesn't call it? Are they still living in that last possession with like sulking and palms up and like looking at the coach and like you are not present in the moment. The most important moment is right now. So shame lives in the past, fear lives in the future, but peak performance lives in the present moment. So you can't have success unless you're present. So I like to also, we talked about, we have 2 wolves we feed. Let's put somebody on the spot. Actually, Coach Miner, what it's like we can't unmute, but okay, Coach Miner.
For sure. I can unmute Caleb. Rebecca's a good one. She just dipped out for a second. I just got Caleb. He's like, oh crap, there's Rebecca.
All right, Rebecca. I'm gonna ask Rebecca. I see she's got a ball behind her. She's got a lot of good books. I'm gonna ask her some questions. Teach me.
Rebecca, here we go. You should be unmuted. Let's go.
Hey, Rebecca, this is a simple question, but let's just see how, if your mindset's dialed in. What is the word wolf spelled backwards?
Oh, it's been a long day.
Wolf spelled backwards.
F-L-O-W. Flow.
Flow. So flow means being in the zone. Flow is a term coined by Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. And flow is the most optimal state we can be in as performers. And we can't get to flow, which means in the present moment, we're not judging good or bad. There's no sense of time. We have a goal, there's feedback, but watch this last part of flow. The activity is the reward, not the outcome. How many of us perform for this outcome? How many points am I going to score? How many minutes am I going to get? How many stops am I going to get? Am I going to get all conference? You can't control that. So when we talk about feeding the good wolf, bad thoughts are bad, good thoughts are good, but no thought is best. We can't get to this no thought, this flow, by being negative. You can't, it's impossible. So I really can't guarantee that being positive always works, but I can guarantee that being negative always works for the negative. So the essence, what we're trying to do is get to this quiet mind where we're not thinking, this unconscious competence, this peaceful, quiet place. And to influence that is to train our mind to be present. When negative thoughts come and go, recognize that that's my critic, press the reset button, reset word, come back to the present moment. Have championship body language, championship effort, and that's going to give you a much, much better shot. So, but let me just finish this whole confidence training right now. So step 1 to train unshakable confidence is how you speak to yourself. Step 2, X factor, is our actions. How we prepare, what actions we take. And I would say the cornerstone of peak performance, the cornerstone of confidence is having courage. Is being vulnerable. This is from the great Maya Angelou. She says that courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue. Courage, to be vulnerable on that court, to be yourself, to be authentic, to play, to make something big happen, not to play, to not make a mistake, to be yourself, to be yourself. Being different is cool, man. Being different is so cool. There's 7.7 billion people on the planet, only one you. Being unique and different is your superpower. Now, we can have people that we admire, that we can steal from, but there's only one you. I like telling the story of a young rapper trying to make it in the game. He's talking to Pharrell Williams. If you kids don't know Pharrell, you know this song. 'Cause I'm happy to belong if you feel. But he's produced tracks for the last 20 plus years for every artist. But a young rapper is like, yo, Pharrell, my goal in life, in the rap game, I want to be the next Andre Ice Cold 3000 from Outkast. You want to look at real rap music? Look up Outkast, like lyrics. And Pharrell says something really, really wise. He says, man, that's cool, but guess what? Pharrell's already taken. You should be the next you. You should be the next you. There's only one you. And that's really cool.
And that's what I love about the X Factor is he owns it and he unique. But that's the thing. If you want to be uncommon, if you want to be unique, like that's what it takes, because that's what we teach the kids that are trying to play college basketball. It's unique. It's uncommon. It's the 5% that get to play beyond high school. what are you doing to set yourself up to be one of those 5%? And so being uncommon, it's huge.
And Brent, I'll say this. Most teenagers, most young adults in high school, college, they have one goal, and that is to be cool and to fit in.
That's the truth. I believe it.
To be cool and to fit in. So if I'm doing a workshop with a team, I'll bring a note card. I'll have them write the word cool on a note card, and I'll have them tear it up. Like, hey, we're going to tear the cool card. Cool is not going to help us. Being vulnerable and being courageous, that's what's going to help us.
I love that. One thing that my coach always told me is that, well, all of us, is that do you want to be, this goes with it being cool. Do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected? Which one do you want? If you're going to be liked, you're going to be, oh, yeah, forget about what coach is saying. This stuff's hard, and people will like you. And then none of you will probably succeed because you're all going to be in the, out crowd of not doing the right stuff. You're going to be respected. Hey, man, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Coach is tweaking. You're tweaking. Get out there and do what you're supposed to do. Okay, now you got respect. That might even create too, but more importantly is that respect you're talking about. And that speaks way louder than any kind of likability, any kind of coolness, this and that could ever possibly speak.
And we have what is called mirror neurons in our brain. We model and mirror what we see. So oftentimes you get in these group settings, people just try to be like everybody else. And this is from Les Brown. He says, we are all born unique, but we die copies. So if you were going to go watch a show, maybe let's ask Parker. I don't know, Parker, you can use the chat or speak up. I'll be curious to see who is Parker's favorite music group? Band, singer. We can ask somebody.
Parker's there. Let's see. Parker, I can unmute you if you're around. Let's see, or you can use the chat.
I would say probably Lil Uzi Vert, if you know who that is.
Say one more time.
Lil Uzi Vert.
Great choice.
Is that a rapper? I'm guessing.
That's a
rapper.
And anytime there's a Lil in the front. So would you rather see that rapper do his set, his album, or would you want to see a cover rapper that just covers all of his songs?
Definitely have him do his own stuff.
Exactly. So the essence is don't be a cover band, be yourself. Let's go.
Rebecca knows these jams.
That's a rack. Rebecca knows all about it.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is being different, you're trying to fit in, but it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. And I'm telling you right now, if you're authentic, if you're present, if you believe in something, if you stand behind these core beliefs, people will follow you. Facts. Because everyone is just trying to fit in. I don't care how successful, how many points you score, everyone's just trying to fit in. But really, it's not about that. It's about, do you love who you are? Do you show up as, I'm comfortable in my skin, I look different, I talk different, whatever. Like, this is me. People gravitate towards that. They do. So the question I have for you is, are you a plus, a 0, or a minus? There are 3 types of people in the world: a plus, a 0, and a minus. So are you giving energy, or are you taking energy? Or are you just copying people? Are you a 0? Are you a minus? Are you taking energy? Are you giving energy by, you know what? I'm authentic. I'm myself. I love myself. I have compassion for myself. I love other people. And I think if we can master these 5 words as performers on the topic of courage, if you can master these 5 words, your life's going to change. And master these 5 words. I'm not defined by this. I'm not defined by this. I'm not defined by this. How many points, how many minutes. But what defines me is my character. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. How do you respond to adversity, challenge, change, and success? That's the measure of being tough mentally. So you're a human being choosing to play a sport. This sport doesn't define you. It doesn't define you. This is not a have to, this is a get to. I guarantee you this. When Dr. James Naismith started inventing the game of basketball, he didn't think, I'm going to create an activity that creates panic attacks, anxiety into other people. No, he didn't do that. Because I'm going to make an amazing competition that gives exercise, it's teamwork, there's strategy. And you're a human being choosing to play a sport, or coaches listen to this. Wins and losses doesn't define you. It's impact. It's, was I myself in the moment? Was I prepared? Was I present? Was I competing? Was I a great teammate? So it starts with courage, with action. So we got self-talk and action. So self-talk, it was, whenever I had success before, have I earned the right with my habits and routines? And then having anchor statements. Now, putting the action in is, am I practicing courage every single day? Am I getting comfortable being uncomfortable? And it's like, Collin, easy for you to say. I mean, you're a speaker, but guess what, guys? I used to stutter pretty bad as a kid. I used to stutter as a young adult. When I was 27 years old, I went to speech therapy for like 6 months. I did Toastmasters, which is a club where you give speeches every week for like 3 years. I would call my friends when I was doing all this content. Hey, can I speak to your team? Can I speak to your business? I'd volunteered for like a year and a half. I made no money. I was just getting reps. And I failed a ton. FAIL stands for first attempt in learning. Is failure a devastation or is it an education? It's time to go to school and get those reps in. But it takes being vulnerable. It takes just being yourself. It's just, hey, I'm not afraid to fail. So once we have this core pillar of failure is feedback, I'm not defined by this. Courage is the cornerstone of peak performance. I'm going to train that daily. Now what we want to do is get into habits and routines, process over outcome. So the way we do this is I want to ask you guys, what are your MITs? And MITs is an acronym short for most important tasks. What are your 3 MITs you're going to do every single day, regardless of how you feel? That if you did nothing else but those 3, you'd have won the day. The biggest lie that people think that these top performers, they're always motivated. They always feel energized. That's not true. Act different than how you feel. You act out of principle or out of preference. So lock in on these habits, routines. And then also I want to know, what are your EPAs, Caleb, out of Hawaii? Let's go. What are your EPAs? You don't have to answer. But your energy pulling activities. The first and greatest victory is over self. The only competition is you. So do you know what pulls your energy? Is it TikTok? Is it Twitter? Is it YouTube? Is it negative people? Is it watching the negative news? So know things that hook and pull your attention out, that you're going to just limit your exposure to that. So pick your MITs, most important tasks, and do those. Maybe I'm gonna dribble for a half hour a day. I'm gonna put up 200 shots a day. I'm gonna lift weights and run, whatever. Just, you get to decide. You get to pick, and then you do these regardless of how you feel. You're not gonna always feel motivated, but watch this. This is Newton's first law. An object in motion stays in motion. An object in idle stays in idle. Have a bias for action. It's supposed to be hard. That's the best part. Winners do what non-winners are not willing to do. So your MITs, get your reps in, daily habits. What are my EPAs, my energy pulling activities that I'm going to recognize? Again, this is from Plato. The first and greatest victory is over self. Me versus me. They play to beat us. We play to beat us. And that's a great place to start. Courage, and get these habits and routines dialed in. I'll just do a 20-second timeout just to check in with the X Factor and be minor, just to check in. That's a lot of content I'm throwing at you guys.
MITs. What are your MITs? Pont, give us just one of your MITs.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely exercise every day, every day, because I eat a lot. That might be one of my energy pulling activities, is that I eat too much. Eating is good, but I eat way too much. I get carried away. So to mitigate that, I try to exercise every day, whether it's getting in the gym, actually lifting, playing basketball, running, like whatever I can do, that's for sure. Another thing that I do every day, I talk to my dad every single day, because he's extremely motivational. Talk to my dad every single day, gives me that boost. Boom, that's good. So, those are a couple of things that I do. And I mean, there's more as well, but I would say that those are my 2 big ones. I like to make my bed in the morning too, because that starts your day off with a victory. So
I would write these down and have a clear plan in place for yourself. Like a clear plan. Like, if the athletes listen to this, do you have a daily schedule? Do you know what your MITs are? That if you did nothing else but those 3, and do you have someone that I call your let's go buddy? Not you go, I go, let's go. And then you check in daily. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. No one should worry or win alone. So have someone to ride with. Have someone to check in with, especially during COVID quarantine. Have somebody that you're going to check in with daily. and share your goals for the month. Share your MITs, your EPAs. And then I would say, you know, just to kind of wrap this up with action is to help you in the moment to stay present, to execute, is have what I call focus keys. What are you going to focus on in the moment? Like when it's time to perform. So if you're playing basketball, you could have a focus key. It's just pick like 3 things. I'm going to tell a story of Michael Johnson, 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. X Factor wasn't even born yet. Like 3 years later, he was born. He was in God's pocket. But Michael Johnson basically says, you know, when you're about to perform, if you don't have a simple checklist of which one to execute, it's like going to get groceries without having a list. You're going to waste energy. You're going to waste time. You're going to be confused. So for Johnson, his focus keys were head down, pump my arms, explode, I'm a bullet. Head down, pump my arms, explode, I'm a bullet. That's just going to shrink what you focus on in the moment. So when I'm playing basketball, my what I call shot thought or focus key is hand under the ball. If I keep my hand under the ball, my elbow in, your boy's wet all day. If I'm on the court, I'm in range. I'm just letting you know, X Factor.
We'll hoop it up.
Yeah. So just have like just no more than 3 focus keys when you're time to execute, just to remind yourself to shrink your focus. The best focus on less, not more. I'll say that again. The best focus on less, not more. And boats don't sink from water outside the boat. Boats sink when water gets inside. So we're gonna build a fortress of our focus with our self-talk plan. We're gonna put in our MITs daily. We're gonna train courage, and we're gonna focus on this 1 or 2 or 3 things in that moment. What are you gonna focus on in that moment?
Work out, Rebecca. Rebecca's down there flexing. Shrink focus. I wrote that down. I think that's something that I think it's just evident throughout all sports. The people, and I know for me, my free throw routine, sight, feel, swoosh. Every time. 4th quarter, 1st quarter, big game, summer league game. It was spin, bounce, sight, feel. So I'd see it going in, I'd feel it going in, swoosh. It'd swoosh.
And I would say this, to add to that, let's add another layer to like taking, you know, massive action, bias for action, and getting your reps in, is have the same routines as warm up, like pregame, what you wear, pre-shot. Have these same routines and doing the same regardless of where you're at, what type of game it is. This is trusting the process, and the process is a word that's, you know, mental and physical routines done consistently to aid performance. So we're going to do these like all off season. We're going to do these all preseason, all practice, and we're going to transfer these over in the game. We're going to keep them the same. Right? There are no big moments. Every moment's the same. So we don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our training. So have these routines in place. I'll tell a story about Lawrence Tynes, kicker for the Giants in the NFL in the 2011 NFC title game versus the Packers. There's like 4 seconds left. They're in Lambeau Field, icy tundra. He's about to kick a field goal. If they make it, they're going to the Super Bowl. If they miss, they're done. But he shanked 2 field goals before that kick. Shanked him. He steps up, does his routine, does his breath. The holder gives him the nod. He gives a nod back, steps up, drills the kick. They beat the Packers. They go on and beat the Patriots in the big one 2 weeks later. And Lawrence was asked this question, Lawrence, man, you shanked 2 field goals really bad in the game. How'd you make that big one? He said, I trusted my routine. I didn't change because I failed. I trusted. I did the same routine. Focus on the process, not the prize. Process, not the pressure. Let's go. Just treat it the same.
That's important, man. That goes into what you were talking about, being clutch earlier.
100%.
Being able to perform just the same way in those crucial situations.
100%. And you look at Tiger in his prime in the early 2000s, they did research on, like, how was Tiger so good? Like, if it was Sunday, if he had a lead of, like, you know, any lead, or if he was within, like, 2 or 3 strokes, he'd always win. But they found that Tiger's scores on Sunday were the same on Saturday, Friday, Thursday. People in his in that group would just play worse on Sunday. Tigers stayed the same. So that's where these routines, habits, self-talk, these routines, we treat it the same. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what I need to do. I'm going to trust the process. I'm not defined by this. And these routines create a sense of comfort and calm in the moment, the eye of the hurricane. So I'm going to go to these routines, but maybe you haven't done. So I want you to visualize everybody has a kitchen drawer that's the like junk drawer. You put everything in there, right? But sometimes we need something like a screwdriver or scissors, you can't find it. And you're like panicking. So what we're doing is we're organizing our mental drawer to go to when we need it. It's organized. It's clean. I know where everything is, and I've repped these. I know where to go. That creates calm. That creates confidence and comfort. But have you organized this internal drawer in your mind to be clear? You've repped these. You know where to go to. That's what mental training is. So, hey, listeners, do this. Imagine you're taking a drawer out of your head, put it to the side, dump it upside down, shake it out, clear the mechanism, clear that drawer, put it back in your head. Let's just create a new organized drawer of calm, of elite confidence, of courage, of pressing the reset button, of self-talk, habits, routines. I'm more than an athlete. I'm more than a coach. I'm not defined by this. Hey, I want that big moment because I trust in myself. Whatever happens, I'm not defined. I'm just going to compete. I'm going to not compare. I'm going to compete. Let's go.
Compete, not compare. That right there. Compete, not compare. That's something that I think is just a lesson for everybody, is all you can try to do is be better than you were yesterday, and try to compete against yourself and not compare yourself to others.
That's it. I'm going to break down two models. I call this bad cops versus good cops in your mind. So you have two wolves fighting, right? So in this bad wolf, you have what I call bad cops that keep you in performance jail. Starts with C, is comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. Now the O is worrying about the opinions of other people. So follow this sequence. You aren't who you think you are. You aren't who others think you are. You are what you think other people think you are. This is from my boy, Jay Shetty. Okay, so this is, again, getting your validation. This is like that like shaky confidence where you get your confidence and validation from what people think of you, or people say. How many times, like, hey, did you see that shot? What did you think about that game? What did you think about that rep? You need that validation. So you aren't who you think you are. You aren't who others think you are. You are what you think other people think you are. And it's probably not true. So we're going to get our validation from being authentic, being ourselves, being different, being unique, having self-compassion, being a great teammate, max effort. Now, so that's C-O. Then the P is the lie of perfection. Giving yourself no margin for error. Just beating yourself up if you're not having success in practice or in a game, or you're not getting playing time. Like you're getting your worth to this outcome. We have to be aware of that. And then the last one, again, we're spelling bad cop, C-O-P-P. The last P is the prize. I'm not worthy or happy until I get this external thing. That's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. I won't be happy until this happens, which is not true. So now let's look at the other side. I'm going to give you some good cops that are going to help access flow. Instead of comparing, I want you to care. Care about self, others, and the game. Have that same self-compassion, same self-love. Love yourself. Care and love your teammates. Love your opponent. And be obsessed with the game. It's hard to be good at something if you don't love it. Do you play for what you get or how you look, or just with the fact you love to compete, you love to get better? So have that compassion and care. Stop comparing. Now the O is take personal ownership. Take personal ownership. Stop obsessing over opinions and take ownership for yourself. I've just never seen X Factor, a top performer, blame, shame, make excuses, blame the coach, blame the referee, blame a parent, blame the club team, blame whatever it is. They just take the ownership as, I got this, man. I'm going to take ownership of my behaviors. I'm going to get after this thing. I don't need to hear from you whether to go. Fire, aim, ready. I'm about to go. And the P, instead of perfection, it's about progress. Progress, not perfection. This is what Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. Fixed mindset. They think talent and skill is fixed. They don't like challenges because that they mess up. It reflects their ego, their belief in themselves. Where growth mindset, they love challenges. They really believe in effort, and they believe in the power of yet. I can't finish with my offhand yet. It's going to happen. I'm going to work on it. You know, that crazy Euro step, you know, I don't have it, but I don't have it yet. I'm going to work on it all off season. The brain's amazing. It's called neural plasticity. Your brain can change itself by changing your thoughts and your actions. Now, the last one, instead of prize, it's about process. Be obsessed with the process. Be obsessed with this fact. It's the journey, not the reward. I hate this phrase. I hate the phrase, the pursuit of happiness. No, let's shift it. The pursuit is happiness. Let's go. The pursuit is happiness. So I'm just throwing a ton of content. I might need to just, again, press the pause button. I've written 5 books and 3 years. I got a lot of content. I'll just, again, a 20-second timeout. I'm just going to pause for a second.
Hey, let's make that 20 a full. Let's extend that one a little bit, and let's check in with the X Factor. What's going on, man?
Well, first of all, do not apologize for the content because this is extremely valuable. It's a blessing for you to be here talking about this because this is extremely important stuff. Like people, like I was saying a little bit earlier in my intro, I think the mentality is so important, so extremely important. And like I read a book. It's called Chop Wood, Carry Water. Actually, our whole team read it, and they say, have you read it as well? It's pretty.
Yes,
Kentucky.
classic. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And when the going gets tough, you sink to the level of your training, which I love. I love because if you, kind of like you were talking about earlier as well, if you train your tail off and if you work your tail off and you get into some kind of situation, you know, you work on your confidence, you work on your mentality, you work on your game and everything as well. And if there comes a point still to that point where you are in uncharted territories and you don't exactly know what's going on, you almost kind of feel uncomfortable, you sink to the level of your training. Now, if you've been putting the work in, you're going to be okay. You're still going to be okay.
Well, in fact, I'll say this. You have to elevate how you prepare. You can't just – this is why I call being in a practice channel where you're just like there's no one around you. There's no pressure. You're filling it up. But you create environments where there's some pressure. If you miss some shots, you're going to do burpees or something. Or you're going to go on that IG live and, hey, I'm about to take 10 – I'm going to shoot 10 shots. Well, the whole world to see this. If I miss, I'm going to do this. Like, are you putting yourself in positions to prepare and practice into what I call the performance channel? Because those are 2 different channels. You can practice by yourself, and I have coaches or parents say, gosh, Billy does a great job in practice, but he can't do it in games. I was like, okay, let's talk about how you practice then. Like, are you elevating the stakes at practice to feel that stress? Or you're putting too much value on this outcome, this performance. Maybe the parents are praising the outcome too much. Because once that ball leaves the hand, you can't control if it goes in. But how is your body language? How is your balance? How is your finish? How is your next play speed? That's what's in our control. So I think coaches, parents, athletes, stop judging the outcome. Process over outcome. Be relentless, compete, attack. I promise you, good things will come. But that's how you have to elevate how you practice. But Chop Wood, that whole book, it's about 2 things. It's about trusting the fundamentals, trusting the process, and being present. And being present. That's why I love to teach mindfulness. Are you able to be still with yourself for 1 minute without looking at the IG? Have you trained your mind to be the eye of the hurricane? Can you recognize thoughts and say, oh, that thought's interesting, and then gently come back to your breath? That's like doing a bicep curl for your mental toughness. So I want you to look up 2 apps, athletes, right now. Look up the app Headspace and look up the app Calm. Now, if you were to say who would have won the MVP if there was a vote, for me, it would be LeBron. LeBron took the Lakers and just like beasted everyone. He has a whole special on the Calm app that he recorded on the power of sleep and the power of being present. And hey, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. This is today's birthday, right?
Today.
So his mindset coach was George Mumford. George Mumford worked with the Bulls and the Lakers. Michael Jordan said, George Mumford saved my life. And Kobe Bryant says, by practicing mindfulness every morning, that anchored him. That he was training his mind to be ferocious in the fourth quarter because he's in control of his thoughts. I'm able to sit still. I'm able to focus on my breath, to be present. And it's like, how much of success is physical versus mental? How much time do we spend training our skills physically? Well, all I'm asking for is 5 minutes a day, bro. That's it. I'm just asking you for 5 minutes. How about this? How about 4 minutes? So maybe as we're wrapping up, guys, I'll leave you with this challenge. I'm going to teach you the 4-minute mental workout. I also call this the HA method. It's an acronym for I have, I am, I will. This is going to the mind gym. Now, mindfulness, if you were to define mindfulness, it's the practice of self-awareness through being present without judgment. So elite performers, X Factor, they have elite self-awareness. Would you agree?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Would you agree that Michael Jordan, he could command being in the moment at any time?
Definitely. Put a lot of work into that.
And then could you agree that Kobe Bryant, known as the most clutch performer in basketball, that he did not judge good or bad? It was just, this is just feedback. So if I'm 0 for 4, 0 for 5, or if I'm 2 for 17, I still want the last shot, right?
Sure. He didn't care because he was confident in himself.
He didn't care. So the act of mindfulness is we're training self-awareness, and we're training being present, and we're training not judging good or bad. We're not judging outcomes. Because I can't control the outcome. The moment that ball leaves my hand, I can't control it. I can't control it. So there are 2 types of mindfulness. The first one is called single point focus mindfulness. That you're going to focus on one thing, your breath, a sound, a visual like a dot on the wall, a candle. You're just feeling senses in your body. Your eyes could be open or closed. It's not like monk, like, no. I'm talking about like, we're going to train this. And then the other part of mindfulness is what I call active mindfulness, where you are visualizing using what's called imagery. Your body cannot tell the difference between a real and imagined event. I'll say that again. Your body cannot tell the difference between a real and imagined event. You don't believe me? Think about a scary movie you saw. That dude came in the corner, ah! Like, bro, it's just a screen, dog. No one's out to get you. But you feel your heart beating, or you woke up from a dream and like you're sweating. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real and imagined event. So why would you not go to the mind gym for a few minutes a day and just see what you want to accomplish? Put yourself in that moment. Your body can't tell the difference. Use all your senses, sight, sound. So here's a pop quiz. Who has the most Olympic medals of all time?
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps' mental game was relentless. He would visualize for a half hour. After a workout or his preparation, he'd visualize, in the green room. He'd visualize, the music they'd play at the walk-up, on the deck, in the water, every single stroke. He'd visualize if his goggles got foggy. He'd visualize if he missed a turn. He would just walk through mentally all these things. He said that was one of the most important things I did as a performer because I was getting extra reps, and your brain cannot tell the difference between a real and imagined event. You create neural pathways, mental groups. There's a research study that was done in Chicago. They looked at free throw shooting, where group 1 would practice making free throws a half hour a day. Group 2, no practice. Group 3 would just practice visualizing making free throws. After that month, group 1 that would shoot increased their foul shot by 24%. Group 2, no practice, no improvement. Group 3, just visualize making free throws. They increased their percentage by 23%. I'm giving you gold right now. If you're going to take it, take it. If not, hey, winners do what non-winners not willing to do. Do you want the edge? I'm giving you the edge right now. Get your mental reps in. I'm going to give you 4 steps. Let's go. Backed by positive psychology research, backed by cognitive behavioral training research. 4 simple mental lifts you can do. Parents, teach these to your kids. Coaches, teach these to your kids. Just 4 minutes a day. For the first minute, we're going to breathe. That's it. We're just going to be still, be quiet. We're just going to just notice, recognize. We're going to slow down our breathing and start from your top of your head down to your feet. Just unlock tension, tightness. If a thought comes, again, don't judge it. That's interesting. Just gently come back to your breath. Your breath is always anchored to the present moment. Breathe for a minute. Now we're going to get into what I call the ha method. I have, I am, I will. The ha is I have statement, which is gratitude. Here's a fact. You can't be fearful, bitter, hateful, anxious, depressed, and grateful at the same time. There's so much research on gratitude lowers cortisol. It boosts your immune system to fight illness. It lowers blood pressure, helps you sleep better. This is not a have to, this is a get to. I get to play this game. Even though I can't play right now with my teammates, I can still train. I'm so pumped. The fact I'm on this Zoom call, I can hear, I can see, I'm alive. Lower your threshold for gratitude. Gratitude is like broccoli. Let's go. Now we get into I have, which is affirmations. So X factor, we're going to flood the system with positive self-talk, with neutral to positive self-talk. I'm built for this. I'm an amazing asset to my team. I put in the work. There's no one like me and I love it. Let's go. You talk about your go back to what I said with self-talk. Go back to your I am statements, your anchor statements. Think about just practice speaking to yourself like you're Russell Wilson. Practice speaking to yourself like you are Serena. Every time Serena, she has a notebook, a note card. Every time she changes sets and sits down, she reads her affirmations out loud. Wow, this is a champion. Every time Michael Phelps walks through a doorway, an affirmation. I'm a world champion. No one outworks me. So we're just gonna practicing that muscle of championship self-talk. Now the last minute is the acronym. I said aha method. I have, I am, I will. The last one is I will. So set your intention and visualize it. So each morning you do this, you're priming your mindset. Like as an athlete, B minor, coaching, college basketball, down in Oregon, you never just roll the balls out and then you guys start scrimmaging right away, right? You guys warm up, right? You do some laying drills, stretch, calisthenics, you warm up, right?
Absolutely.
So why would we not warm up our mindset before each day? And set that intention of what you want to accomplish. This is what Dr. Anders Ericsson out of Florida State calls deliberate practice. I have intent with what I'm doing. This helps with practicing a skill, whether it's music, whether it's military, whether it's business or sport. Like these performers who have that intent, their skills improve so much faster. So set your intent for that day. We want to accomplish that. Then I want you to connect to a larger vision in the future, like your goals, your dreams. Put yourself in that scene. These memories we create are stored in the same spot. Like when you visualize stuff that you want, see yourself what you want, it's stored in the same spot where memories are stored in your brain. So we're going to create this sense of clarity, this sense of calm. Like your body says, oh, I've been here before. And when it's time to compete in that moment, your body says, I've been here before. This is normal for me. Hitting big shots is normal. This is what I do. I've already seen it in my mind 1,000 times. Let's go. So the question is I'm going to end with this question. Are you interested or committed? I ask it again. Are you interested or committed? Because a lot of people raise their hand. I'm interested when I feel like it. You know, I'll do it, I guess, when I have time. Or you just make all these excuses. Oh, I had school, or I had this. You don't prioritize the mental game. But if you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. You're obsessed. You'll do whatever it takes to be the best version of you. Because I'm telling you what, there are two pains in life, the pain of regret and the pain of hard work. I promise you, the pain of regret hurts way more. And you're in this very, very unique spot as athletes. This is what I call the powerful paradox. And the paradox is two opposite forces coming together. You have maybe, let's say you're a freshman in high school, you maybe just have 4 years left of playing. And maybe if you get a shot to play in college, maybe 8 years. Then let's say you're done playing at like 22, you have like 80 years of the rest of your life to live. Are you going to spend the rest of those 80 years in regret? I could have done this better. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to commit right now. We're not going to waste a day. We're not going to waste a day. Hey, this is Kobe Bryant's birthday. He's not here right now. You're alive. You're alive right here. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. So if that's the case, I'm not going to waste a moment, not just a day. Let's go. So when and where will you get your mental reps in? That's the last question. I'm adding questions here. So write down, when and where will you get your mental reps in? First thing in the morning, during lunch, at night before you go to bed, after your workout, before you work out. Like, write down, when will I get my mental reps in, and do it. So I just gave you, if all you took away was the Ha method, that's perfect. Breath work, gratitude, affirmations, visualize. I have it in my will. If that's all you took away, phenomenal. Or if all you took was self-talk, change how you speak to yourself, phenomenal. Or if all you took away was MITs, behaviors precede success, that's great too. I gave you a lot of stuff today. But how about let's use the chat feature, people who are on live. Let's use the chat feature. What's the biggest takeaway that you got today? And what's one thing you commit to do? Goals are good, but commitments are better. Let's go.
Goals are good, commitments better. I love that. Are you committed or are you interested? If you're just interested, you're going to give up on it when it gets tough. But if you're committed, that's the belief that you're going to continue through it. Even after that feeling, the emotion that you had when you made that commitment. What do you got? We're getting some good feedback.
And I'll say this, man. Ultimate fulfillment is not in an outcome. It's in growth. Ultimate fulfillment. Say what?
True nobility doesn't come in being superior to another person. It comes in being superior to your previous self. Yeah,
it's the best for you. The ultimate fulfillment is in I improved. Like I'm better now than what I was before. And I got comfortable being uncomfortable. I just did something hard. And now I did it. Like, that's amazing. I want to keep attacking. Growth and comfort zones cannot coexist. So keep attacking, keep growing. That's where happiness lives. If you're waiting for this outcome, or I gotta be this or score that, you're not gonna be happy. It's not gonna change anything. So fall in love with the process and just be okay with failure. That's part of the process. Just respond like a champion. Adversity is an invitation to greatness. Adversity is life's golden ticket to take us to a place we could have never gone if you choose to use it the right way. I'm going to challenge you guys to listen to a podcast. John Gordon with Dick Bennett, basketball coach at Virginia. This was July of 2019. Maybe the best podcast I've ever heard. They lost in the first round in 2018. First number one seed ever to lose in the first round. The theme they took in that year was inspired by a TED Talk that basically was telling a story that adversity and challenge is life's golden ticket if you choose to use it the right way.
Tony Bennett, Dick Bennett. Tony Bennett was the coach of Virginia. Dick Bennett's old school Wazoo.
Wait, hold on, time out. Did I say Dick or Tony?
I thought you said Dick. I said Dick.
Okay, Tony. I meant Tony. So Dick was the dad that coached at Wisconsin and Washington State. So Tony is the son, coach at Washington State. So I meant Tony. So Tony.
Got you. Josh got you in the chat.
Thank you so much. It is Tony Bennett. That's right. So I got to know Tony and Dick at Washington State. So they're like amazing people. So yeah, so look up John Gordon and Tony Bennett. But they took this mantra that adversity is life's golden ticket if you choose to use it the right way as like their theme for that year. And they won some close buzzer beaters when they probably shouldn't have won in that tournament. But they just kept fighting, kept competing. And like, you're going to fail. It's going to be part of the journey, but you're not defined by it. It's your response. Just think about that. This is a gift. If something doesn't go right, it's really an invitation and a gift to prove my character, and it's to see what I'm made of, and to develop that toughness. So don't be like this, palms up, victim. No, palms down. I got this. I'm going to compete. What's in my control? I can grow from this.
Palms up versus palms down.
Tony Bennett, man, my bad. Hey, press the reset button. I'm not defined by this. Progress, not perfection. Let's go.
Have a positive self-talk daily so I can have a next play mindset. Good stuff, Emily. Josh wrote, live in the present moment and always crave the grind. We talked about it a little bit earlier, finding that grind, working on it, keeping my mindset constantly in the present. Guys, taking away some good nuggets. Positive.
Caleb says, doing the 4-minute mental workout every day. Let's go. Let's do that. That's it. Yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. There's so much gold there. I mean, I was writing about as fast as I could. Like I said, I'm going to replay this. But self-talk, the preparation, that was something that I took away. I thought preparation was the key to confidence. Self-talk is what you're saying.
Self-talk followed by action.
Followed by action.
Yeah. So you can't just use positive self-talk. Like I can go to my garden and say, there are no weeds, but I'm not weeding. Or if I just, I'll use my example again, but I didn't train my mind with self-talk, with affirmations, with reset word, with self-image. I'm more than a performer. I can work hard all I want, but it's like if you upgrade the hardware but not the software, it doesn't matter how much tech you got. So it's self-talk, how you speak to yourself, followed by action, like put in the work. Act different than how you feel. Have courage. Have courage to not be good at something at first. Have courage to be vulnerable. Have courage to not be perfect. Have courage to be yourself. And then put in the work. But if there's one small thing we can pluck today for you young performers out there, change how you speak to yourself. It's really that simple. That's the challenge today. Quality thought equals quality movement. Negative thought equals negative movement. You can't get into flow if you're being negative, if you're beating yourself up. If you're thinking, don't miss a shot, don't screw up. You're telling your subconscious to screw up. So have these anchor statements. Have these, hey, I put in the work. I can back up. I can be credible with the self-talks I put in the work. And by having this neutral to positive dialogue, you're blocking out negative thinking.
Anchor statement. I am here. Why not me? Let's compete. Let's go. Here we are.
And remember, master these 5 words. I'm not defined by this.
I am not defined by this. This is not who I am. It's what I do.
I'm a human being choosing to play a sport. And we are human beings, not human doings. If you get your worth by doing, what happens when you don't? Does it mean you aren't? No. They play to beat us. We play to be us. Be yourself.
Brilliant. That's awesome, man. Let's wrap it up because there's just so much here. We could chop it up all night, but X Factor, what do you got? Give us a parting shot.
Listen, parting shot, there's so much value, and I encourage everybody, because this was a blessing for all of us. I encourage everybody to rewind, watch this 1, 2, 5, 10 times, as many times you need to, because there's so much value and so many just bits and pieces and nuggets of greatness within this. Collin, I can definitely tell that you're an incredible mental coach. I want to be in contact with you personally throughout the season, after my season when I'm working and, going on with my business endeavors in my life, definitely a valuable asset, and definitely appreciate you hopping on the show. At the end of the day, Coach Rebecca actually put something great in the chat. So it all boils down to, are you interested? Are you committed? So many get it confused. Just like you were saying earlier, so many get it confused. Similar, but not even close to the same. If you're interested, you're probably going to lose interest eventually. You need to commit. You need to put yourself in that position and say, this is my passion. Okay, I'm not quitting. I'm not folding. Nothing can make me fold. I don't care what happens. I don't care. If a meteor hits this earth, I'm still going to go over to that gym at 6 a.m. and get my 100 shots, free throws, and my 100 threes, and my 100 this, my 100 that, and everything. So I think that's the most important part that I took, as well as that self-talk. And there's so many valuable nuggets of information. So I definitely encourage everybody watching to hit rewind as many times as you see fit. The more, the merrier.
Even more than that, buy his books. Buy his books. Give us a shout out. I know Rebecca, she's got a lot of books in that library. I can know at least 5 more that would look really good on those bookshelves. Matt, is it Collin Henderson?
Yeah, if you go to Amazon, 2 L's, Collin Henderson on Amazon, all my books. I have a podcast, all free episodes. It's called Master Your Mindset. So MYM, Master Your Mindset. Collin with 2 L's, which is more L's than he's taken lately. Huh.
Yeah, let's go. I want to just give us, being a father, a business owner, an entrepreneur.
Wait one second.
Yeah, this guy has 5. I'm trying to keep 1 alive with an amazing wife. I know he's got a great partner also, but he's got 5 kids. He owns his business. He's crushing it. I just wanted to hear a little bit of advice, or hopefully he doesn't lose us, but just how do you manage being a father, a business, everything you're doing? Talk to me. Give me just a minute, 2 minutes of advice as a father.
Basically, being a husband first. Be a husband first for me. It starts with that, with my marriage first. It actually starts with my love for God, my faith, but then it starts with my marriage, and then being a dad. I say this: it comes down to being a G. To be successful as a friend, as a parent, as a spouse, or whatever, it comes down to being a G. So these are my 3 values: gratitude. Every day, choose to be grateful. Choose to focus on what you have, not what you don't have. To be grateful for what your family's bringing to the table. The other part of being a G is about giving. Serve. Seek to serve, don't swerve. Find excuses to help people. Give. And that's the same thing. Palms down. I'm not asking for a handout. Palms down. I don't need anything. I'm not going to give. I'm going to expect nothing back. I'm going to give. I'm going to serve. And the last part of being G is growth. Learn from failure. Invest in your development. Mentors, podcasts, audiobooks. Failure stands for first attempt at learning. So be a G.
That's wrapped it up, man, right there. Be a G. Give us your podcast one more time. This knowledge you get. Yeah,
it's called Master Your Mindset. Tools to win the inner game. So if you just search on Spotify, if you have an iPhone, on iTunes. So if you search Master Your Mindset, we have like 110 episodes. The first 100 is like 5-minute episodes, super short. I just give you one nugget, like one skill for the mental game, super short. So you have content for the next few months. If you show up every day, do your HA method, download Master Your Mindset, get one nugget from your mental coach, Collin Henderson, right there on your phone. Let's go.
Let's go. Pacific Boxers basketball. That's our mental guy.
Yeah.
Hey, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about process, growth, mindset. It's not about the outcomes. You can't control the outcomes. You can control the response to the events. E plus R equals O. Doesn't matter. Let's get better. Let's go.
And just serve someone today. Let's go. Serve someone. Let's choose to be a leader. Seek to serve, don't swerve. Find reasons to help people.
And with that, Pont and I end this with, if you're going to walk
on. Ting, ting, ting.
That's it.